Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. We got Harry Glanz on the Zoom.
Morning, Harv. How are you? And how are all our guests doing today?
There you are, Harry. And a whole great panel today. We got Becky Alley calling in.
Hey, everyone. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
All right, Becky. Love to have you there. Jennifer Havel comes in from Keller Williams and along with Julie Trauben. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. Good morning, everyone. Morning.
That's what I like to hear. I love that Sherry. Go get them, boys. Oh, totally. What a great day out there. You know, it's going to be a great real estate day. We're going to talk all about mortgages and real estate. We also brought in Carl Detrych from NuStar Insurance. Carl, you're going to fill in everything with insurance.
Yes, indeed. Good morning.
I said to my girl, I said, hey, you know, last night I was just writing down a few things. And I said, what would I ask an insurance guy? And she had like a million questions. Everyone's got all these questions about home insurance, how it interacts. And of course, when the flood hits and water fills up your basement, then you really want to know what your insurance guy's made of.
Better believe it, because people always will call in and say, hey, do I have coverage for flood insurance? And unfortunately, you have water backup, but you don't have flood insurance.
Well, we're going to get into
I got cut off. Can you put me back on?
A 1 hour show here. And again, we're going to take your calls live at 248-539-9797. And to start things off, hey, guys.
Hi, how are you?
Well, Julie, you know what's really cool, Julie? May and April, we said it the other day, May and April like flew by. Today's May 30th already.
Crazy. I'm the same.
The pandemic, although we were all cooped up at home, it definitely seems like, I don't know where the last 60 days went. We had a transaction that was rather interesting.
Yeah.
We won't get into all the details about it, but a whole bunch of things come up when you talk about a real estate transaction. Anything could come up, like the appraisal was an issue in this one. It didn't have to be an issue, but it put some doubt in the client's mind. We'll talk a little bit about that, the confidence of the appraisal, the confidence of your team, and really putting together a great purchase agreement. So there's so much to share with folks on that attitude. This panel this morning, of course, as we talk about how what a nice day it is. Carl, hopefully there won't be any more rain, because it was like everyone was getting drenched. So we are going to get into that insurance coverage. And we take your calls live here at 248-539-9797. Pending sales are showing a really nice bounce. So you guys, tell me what's going on out there.
So essentially, after we were kind of lifted with the market in the last, what you'd say, week or so ago.
Yeah. It was like 2 weeks ago. And I'll make sense.
Booming. Leases, sales, everybody is just coming out of the woodworks, and it's amazing, but it's also kind of stinks because we can't do our jobs 100% still.
Everything all at once. You sort of want it to stretch out.
Right. So we're limited as to how many people we can show a home to. We can't do open houses. Everything's still in a distance. So
I agree. Everything's just really different. Like technically on inspections, we're not even supposed to go into them, you know, and only 4 people allowed in a home. Everybody's out buying and selling still. I think the biggest thing is that we can't do open houses, and open houses, that's where we get our leads, and I'm worried about our future right now.
Right. It's like where you meet the people one-on-one.
Now we're good right now. Crazy busy right now.
Beck, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just noticed, obviously everyone, we're adapting to this new normal. And by the way, you guys have great energy. I'm feeling it from over here, so I love it. So you mentioned, so you were mentioning about the open houses, and I was thinking okay, well, if there's such an inventory and there's such like flies to every property that's on the market, do you really need open houses? But then you kind of touched on it where, you know, for your future business, that's where you make those contacts with those new buyers, right? The new buyers and sellers, kind of just people being nosy, walking through houses, that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
People have to get that warm fuzzy. Yeah, and people have to get that warm fuzzy feeling too with their agent. Beck, you make a great point there. Is when you meet someone at open house, again, it's just not a name and a number. You get to interact with them immediately, and then you can find out if you're the right mix, because you are going to be in the car generally for the next couple of weeks looking at some houses. And negotiating and all that trust that goes into negotiation of a contract.
Yeah, you become really good friends.
Exactly.
Whether it's for a short period or it could be a really long period, depending on how long it takes you to search or to list your home for.
Right. That's always been great. I've met a lot of people over the years who, the clients become your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for them because obviously they're the ones that are like interacting in their faces all the time, where sometimes on the lending side, you know, they're just talking to us over the phone sometimes, and we don't meet them to the day of closing. So unfortunately, I hear what you're saying, because where I would show up at a closing and meet sometimes a buyer for the first time, we haven't been able to do that, you know? So it's just, I'm on the phone at midnight with these people sometimes. And I know, Harvey, you're the same way. And, you know, I do miss that social interaction, that face-to-face contact. I really do.
Yeah, I actually never met Julie in person, and we did a transaction together, so it was all over the phone. So today was actually our first time meeting this morning, which is really great. Hey guys, the inventory is definitely a little tight out there. Tell me a little bit about the vibe of the sellers out there. Are they just about to step in and say, you know what, things have lightened up where you can at least list your house, and like you said, even though there's restrictions, you can get your house on the market. Are they still holding back? And that inventory we're going to see maybe perk up a little bit in July and August?
I think as the lift becomes less and less, I think that people are going to start to open up more. I have a few sellers right now who are very hesitant on listing. They don't want strangers in their home. They're very motivated to sell. I'm actually trying to sell it without having to bring a lot of people in. So it's definitely out there. It's just a matter of time.
Well, more and more sellers definitely, they have this place to go too. So that's the other end of it, is if they start getting the action and with the light inventory, they're probably going to get an offer pretty quickly. It leads to the question, is the pandemic, and it's like a 50-50 world out there. Is this pandemic going to go ahead and make sellers keep their prices a little bit higher, or is the lack of inventory, going to drive down the prices a little bit? I guess time will tell. I don't know. What's your view on this?
I think it's bringing down the price because just in the last week here, on the houses I've sold and on my few listings, I've had to take a big hit because people are saying, well, the uncertain times, and then these sellers want to sell, so they're taking a hit. So anybody new who wants to list, I think they have to keep that in mind, that you might want to either, hold out, or you can't.
It's not always right. So not everyone's highest and best right now. It's interesting, Julie. And that price range of the house you were at, was that house listed before the pandemic kicked in? And now that they finally got some offers, they're like, wait a minute here. Yeah. We want to sell and move on with our life. Tell us a little. Yeah.
And that's exactly the one in specific. It was listed for a long time. They started out a little too high. I got them down low. They were moving actually yesterday to Ohio, and they had to sell. So they finally went way lower than I even thought they would go.
Yeah, Julie, I think it's all circumstantial. I really do. I think that your borrower had to move out of town. I think they were probably getting a little anxious, and I think that they wanted you to move that house for them. I can tell you right now, to Harvey's question, the question was, what is this pandemic doing to housing prices? I can tell you that in our office, the majority of the offers are coming in at asking price and or have multiple bids driving the prices up. So that would go to pandemic, anxiousness in making people go out and buy and find something, and also the lack of inventory, the quality inventory going on. It's driving multiple offers and driving the prices up. So I'm actually worried, bad word, worried about appraisal values. So if appraisals over the winter time didn't come in, the values, buyers weren't out there buying during the winter, that the prices weren't as high as they are now. So that could drive the appraisals to be a little bit lower under the sales price. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you there, Harry. I mean, just because if you think about it, you have those lack of sales from those, like that early spring market that we never got. So now you have these people that are coming in with, these multiple offers. And right now I've seen where people listing their house, it's actually kind of bringing out that, I don't want to say greedy, but like, well, let's just say the market's telling them the house should be 130. Okay, I'm going to put it at 140 because I can right now, because I'm one of 5 houses in the city, and that's what I've seen some of that happening as well.
Yeah, I think that. So I think as long as the buyer is prepared to come in with extra money to make that deal work, if that's the house they want, what's another $5,000? What's another $10,000 if that's the house that they want? Over 30 years, by the way.
Yeah, I think that $50, 100% from a different angle. I have 2 different kinds of clients, but
tell me that
listings, that 2 that they had to sell because they had to, but then I've had 2 buyers last week that actually had the same thing. They had to go closer to the asking price or over one because of the lack of housing out there.
Yeah, I think that the price range,
someone's going to beat them out.
The price range is really indicating what's going on. I mean, if you're between 150 and 400 almost now, and that ceiling used to be a little lower, people are buying nice homes. The cost has gone up. Really interesting how resilient the market's been. And we've been extremely busy. And like you guys said, although things are different out there, Jen and Julie, definitely we're rocking and rolling here, and things are going to be looking good. All right, when we come back, we're going to take our first break here. 248-539-9797. Keep it here.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Show 915. If you're just joining us, we are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding and powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. Of course, we take your calls here, 248-539-9797. Love to hear some live calls coming in. There's a lot of families out there buying and selling real estate. You definitely got to get your approval letter together. We're going to keep talking with our great agents near Keller Williams Showcase, gives us Julie Trauben and Jennifer Havel. So you guys have a ton to share. And of course, Carl Detrych from NuStar Insurance. Carl, we never get enough time with that insurance guy. It's just not like a commodity thing. You got to really dig into this a little deeper. And I think in anything in life, if you think, oh, I'm just going to buy this, it's all the same. It's not all the same. Tell me a little bit about one of the things that we always get is where your house is $250,000 purchase price, and then the insurance, the dwelling says something different, and then we don't understand the 10% or 20% off replacement cost. Can you clarify that and make it sound sort of interesting?
Sure, definitely. When you get into market value home,
it's insurance, Carl.
250,000 replacement costs. your home burns down and it's a $250,000 replacement, but the replacement on the home is $500,000. The market value is $250,000. You're not going to rebuild it at the $250,000. You want that replacement cost. You want it burns down, and the companies the mortgage companies are always calling us now, do you have replacement costs? Yes, you actually have an extension of either 25% or 50%. There's a few companies out there that have the guaranteed replacement. They mean they're going to rebuild that back to its original structure. And that's what insurance is all about. It's building you back to whole, not making you better, but making you whole. So you have a fire, you have a total burn down. I've seen it. I've been doing this 21 years now. I've seen a home go completely down. They rebuilt it. They had the correct insurance on there.
Makes the family whole. A little bit about that. I mean, to me, homeowners insurance isn't that much money compared to our car insurance here in Michigan.
It really isn't. People think that it is expensive, but that's your major asset. Everything you're paying $1,000 a year for a homeowner's policy. Are they higher out there? Yes, everything. But you want that in your back pocket at all times. You have a total loss. You're totally lost. I tell people, your personal property in your home, you have a total loss. How many ballpoint pens do you have in your home?
Right.
How many crayons do you have in your home? Nobody knows that. How many pair of shoes do ladies have in home? Stuff like that. You don't know that. Take an inventory of everything, put it in a safe deposit box, put it on your phone. You want that. You want that coverage.
Let's hold on that, though. I like that a lot. Write everything down. Take a video of it. If you're a new homeowner, videotape everything you have. Now, a lot of times you're not covering all your stuff. So if you do have jewelry, they need to go and get the appraisal done and then bring it to the insurance agent. It seems like I talked to a lot of people and their insurance doesn't change. And I know they've gotten married and there must be some jewelry involved or something.
You have a limit of, every company has different limits on there. You can go from $1,000 to $5,000 in, jewelry coverage on there. But it's not for, okay, you have a diamond ring and it popped out. It's mysterious.
Hey, Harvey, I have a question for Carl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 2 weeks ago, Carl, when it rained and went crazy and all of a sudden my basement's flooding and I've got a bubble on my bedroom wall. How many calls did you get and what was going on then?
I did not have any on that one, but I do get them. You do have some coverage on was it the ceiling you said?
No, well, it probably came in from a window and then went down my drywall and bubbled out. I guess the point is, I'm trying to make this interesting for everybody, is that there are real world circumstances and you have to have A, good coverage, and you have to have B, a good agent to make sure that the communication, they get the adjuster out, they can line you up with a contractor. Go through that process for people that are listening and trying to make this interesting.
Carl, did they first call? In other words, right? Harry has the water issue. He's never had it before. You see what's going on here. The walls are bubbling. Does he call you first and then you guys send someone out? And a lot of times they could just fix themselves without paying the deductible.
Right.
Is where I'm going with this.
What I tell my clients is call me first. Don't call the company and file a claim. Because in a situation like this, you had water coming through the window. It's not covered. Was it a covered peril? And
we don't know where it came from. We're still trying to investigate it. But I think that your point, and that's the point I was hoping you'd get at, the relationship, just like our business, just like Julie's business, the relationship is with that contact person. It's with you. So if I have a problem with my insurance, the first person I'm calling is you. Exactly right. And that's what our relationship and setting people up with the right team and for success is all about. Because I got news for you, Carl. I'm not calling anybody else but you. All right?
Yeah, you got to be
calling my guy. My guy's
question.
taking care of me. Becky, they're calling you, right?
Yeah, they better call me, because if they don't, it's a problem. And because if they don't call me, they're going to call two other people, and then they're going to call me and be like, I'm sorry, I should have called you. I'm like, you're welcome. Okay, let's figure it out. But Carl, I want to touch on, because I'm a real person and I look at this stuff and I need to know what is the secret number on my insurance policy that doesn't match my credit score, but sometimes like the insurance agencies is judging me for something I did when I was like 21. Like, what's up with that? I need to know. It's for all the viewers if they don't know also.
Insurance score is definitely the number one issue that the insurance company looks at right now. So we use what's called a budget scoring. Everything you have budget 1 to budget 10. Budget 1 being the best, budget 10 being the worst. Difference in premium could be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a year, easily.
Okay.
So
Can someone do something to fix that?
Pardon me?
Could someone do something to fix that? Like, can you?
Because it's based off of your credit score.
Oh, because it is.
Yeah.
So a lot of families out there, it's good. A good segue back into mortgages and stuff. Is credit score, again, affecting us in another way. your insurance costs will be more money. They're looking at you and you can't handle your bills. You might do something a little goofy out there. You might not be as responsible. And sure enough, you're going to be cost you a few more dollars to be insured.
Correct, exactly. And claims is a big factor when it comes to homeowners. You file a claim and you're talking about the water coming through the window. You file that claim and they don't pay it out. It's sort of a hit on your policy there. I tell people, let's see, how much it's going to cost first.
Hey, let's go to our call here this morning. We got to sneak one in here. We got Fred calling in from Farmington Hills. Good morning, Fred. Welcome to the show. So this is interesting. You're telling me your son's buying a house and then the seller, wait a minute here, the seller loses his job and now he's not going anywhere. And then your son just still wants to purchase the house and then rent it back to him for a short time?
Well, that's the point. How long is the seller going to need occupancy after?
I mean, technically on a primary home, you do need to occupy that home within the 60 days because then, so did you guys already close on this transaction or are you guys in the middle of it?
Well, if they would do a 60 days after closing occupancy, maybe stretch out the closing to the end of July, and then that'll carry us through September. But at the end of the day, I like what Becky's telling you. Legalities say that he has to occupy the house as a primary residence. If he's going to intend to rent it out to someone, it's a different mortgage, and he would want to sign the right documents. Is he putting a lot of money down? Is he putting 20% down or more to purchase? Was his idea to move into the house right away? Like, why is this so exciting? If he hasn't signed the purchase agreement, is there another opportunity for him that's better, or is this opportunity the better one? No, we know in all the hot markets, ladies.
It sounds like to me the transaction is going to get done. Your son is going to have to negotiate. He's got to be in there 60 days. So whenever he signs the agreement from closing, the closing date, it's got to be 60 days. If he could prolong the closing date, give the guy or the family an opportunity to stay there as long as they can. But then that family's going to have to make arrangements to get out after 60 days for sure.
Right. Yeah, and that might make him stand out, so like he's got this, they're obviously developing a really good relationship. So now your son's going to have an opportunity to actually have first access to this house when the sellers can actually properly make that, transaction come to fruition, or get it in paper now, extend that closing date through September, give those sellers plenty of time so that way your son has plenty of time to still maybe occupied as a primary home versus taking a higher interest rate for an investment property.
Julie, you got to jump in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just have something really good. My daughter just went through this. Just make sure, my advice, that you get a good security deposit because you never know when they don't get out. This happened with my daughter, and you want to make sure you get in there. And if you don't have everything proper on the PA and with the title company, at the end with
right,
that will motivate them to get out because otherwise you're going to deal with
in other words, a signed contract that says X amount of dollars for these days. If you don't vacate something strict, it's a signed contract.
That they're motivated.
That he's
going to lose it.
Right.
They'll find reasons sometimes that they can't get out. You
Yeah.
have to victim and go through it's a big deal when you deal with
and
that.
especially if you're buying. And hey, thanks for the call, Fred. We appreciate it. We'll call you back, Fred, and see if we can give you some more insight. Really appreciate it.
You definitely want that.
Thank you.
Occupancy.
The occupancy thing's a big part of it, but also, they threw in there, hey, the kids got to go to school in September. I mean, the timing and everything gets really sticky too. And if the whole idea is that we want to get the kids in school there, it's probably most school districts require that you've moved into that house, just not closed. They actually want to see that you've actually moved in sometimes.
It just sounds sticky a little bit because things sound okay now, but by that time, if that family can't
Put it all in writing. All right, when we come back, we got some helpful tips. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Business show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You can call us at Capital all weekend long. How about get that real strong approval letter? 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's 1-800. Or you could just call us here at the studio. I don't even want to give out that number here. Call us in the studio and tell us. We're going to get you hooked up these great real estate. And 1-800-LOW-RATE, always 569-7283. But here in the studio, you can get these great real estate agents.
Yeah, so once you get that pre-approval, you need to call Jennifer or Julie.
All right, fair enough. Keller Williams, we'll get you hooked up with them.
Yeah.
But, like we said, even if you guys, you have to bring something to the dance. Yeah, like if you're working, if anyone's out there working with an agent right now, and they even had the guts to ask you about that approval letter, that's even scary.
Oh, yeah.
And what are they bringing to the table? Julie, I know you brought lots of energy. You guys have that, but negotiation skills and great communication skills and being Johnny on the spot. Julie, I called you for 60 days straight. You answer the phone every time.
Yeah, that was funny because I was telling you yesterday my idea was, all the different hats that a realtor wears. And that's one of them. You have to answer your phone 24 hours a day, and you don't know what you're going to be asked. You don't know if somebody's angry on the other end or happy. You just have to answer and roll with it.
Go with it.
We live and die by our cell phones.
You do.
We do, literally. I sleep with mine next to my ear pretty much all night.
Well, it's scary. There's a lot of emotions that go into a transaction. Like we've had so many of the professional agents come on and tell us, and of course, some of the professionals from Keller Williams talk about how you're a psychologist, you're negotiators. You just wear a lot of different hats, as you mentioned. So keeping everyone motivation for the sale, the sellers, the buyer, everyone, and even keel, really important stuff.
Yes, we are financial consultants. We are personal counselors,
Psychiatrists.
We are
Doing it all.
friends. We are family. We are everything.
We were talking about just the last transaction. It's a really interesting call. We're going to take a real quick call here in a second. But Carl, wrap that up because, right, if you close on a house and you don't occupy within 60 days, that is actually a rental property. And if God forbid something happens, there's a problem there. You have to be insured properly.
Correct. You have to turn it into what's called a rental home, totally written different than your primary home, because your primary home is giving you your guaranteed replacement. Your rental home's written totally different. You can get a replacement, but not the same way, because now you're not putting personal property on there. We're only going to cover the structure now and your liability. So definitely you want to make sure you have that right policy out there.
Other language that can be written into a purchase agreement, ladies, there's no doubt that this says that if they stay there after, that they have to pick up their own renter's insurance and things of this nature also.
Correct.
Hey, let's roll out to a call here. Martin's calling in from Livonia. Good morning, Martin. Thank you for the call. Go ahead.
You can definitely talk to us up here and we can refer you down to someone who is licensed in Florida.
Yeah, and I'm licensed in Florida to do mortgages, so we can get you all approved.
I'm actually working on my Florida license at the same time. So,
oh, good.
Yeah.
We can work directly. Hey, Martin, I'm always curious, where are you going to be looking at in Florida? All righty. Hey, you've got a plan.
Wait, time out. How are you going to let him off the hook with that? You can't let him off the hook that easy. You can't let him off the hook that easy. Time out.
Becky, do you want to jump in on
buy
that?
an investment property 3% down.
No, yeah, that's not how it goes.
No, I understand that, but here, the letter of the law and lending guidelines. If you're going to go down there and say it's an investment property, it's not 3% down. If you're going to go down there and say it's a second home, a vacation home, you might have a better shot. But if you go under that and then it turns into an investment property, ask Carl, ask the lending police, you're going to have an issue. Okay. You're going to have an issue.
Martin, if you're working down there, that's going to be the key. So you're definitely going to have to have full-time employment down there. There's going to be no way around that. I don't see any way that an underwriter would see it any other way. But hey, I'll follow up with you after the show. I want to hear more about this. Harry says I'm letting you off easy, so maybe I am. All right, we have some open lines here: 248-539-9797. But there you go. Everyone's got sort of an idea or vision how they might be able to put this transaction together. Get more professional people involved, because ladies, how often are you driving around somebody? I know you guys don't waste your time. But I know 50% of the people that have been calling lately, because we're doing a lot of television ads, we're getting some new clients out there, people that want to get into home ownership, but they don't have their ducks in a row at all. So again, it's the funds to close and their credit. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, and they're just, like you just said, a lot of them aren't really ready, but a lot of them also are apprehensive about even asking, and it takes a lot of courage to even step up and even start the conversation.
Right. Just where do I start with all this? Hey, guys, articles are talking about Americans rethinking the kind of lifestyles they want. Boy, this pandemic showed us a couple things. All of a sudden, we didn't have enough room in our houses. All of a sudden, maybe we don't want to live in a downtown area or in a high-rise condo where I've got rules and other people touching everything. So, I mean, where is the lifestyle going? Did the virus change people? The polling suggests that a third of Americans now want to move out of these congested areas and maybe get out to the rural areas a little bit. Have you had any of that going on, or maybe we'll see it in the future?
I think we're going to start seeing that in the future, especially with summer coming around. A lot of people want lakefront, and they also want to move a little bit more northern a little bit. I think they want out of the metro area. They want more land. They want lake.
Yeah, I think that they just saw their same four walls that whole time, and that either A, gave them time to do everything they needed to do, or they just said on their mind, hey, I don't want to live like this.
Yeah,
Because they're there all day, every day.
The desire to have some
Yeah.
additional space definitely was creeping in on
I
some
think it's hard
folks.
for a lot of people right now to buy because a lot of people are furloughed, a lot of people are on unemployment right now. It's financially, it's tough, but I think that it'll work out, man.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
Becky,
to touch
you
on what
even-
you're talking, I was just gonna say, touch on what right now, the transactions, they are taking a little bit more time, right? Because you have people in the middle of buying these houses, they were laid off, et cetera. That doesn't mean that the transaction just explodes. It's just a matter of, we're gonna take the time, we're gonna wait to get back to work. And the key right now is you're gonna have to show a pay stub because people are going back to work and they're getting laid off. So we can't close until we show that 40-hour pay stub or whatever the rate of pay was before that happened. And just real quick, as far as like rental properties and things like that, I want to go back to that caller because he did get off a little bit light. So for anyone that's looking to purchase a second home, okay, you can get away with 10% down on a second home if you're trying to buy. You live in Michigan, you work in Michigan, but you want to take advantage of these low rates. You can put as little as 10% down on a second home. But if you're going to use it as a rental or anything of that nature, it's going to be automatic minimum 20% down. You got to make sure that you're with the right professionals. And I feel like that's been a little bit of a theme, that the professionals that you work with, from insurance, from your real estate agents, from your mortgage lenders, you need to make sure you're calling the right people that are going to set you in the right path so that way you can close successfully.
Just
Becky,
make
that's
sure
a great point.
information about the home too. You want it, is it a rental
Yeah.
home or is it your primary home?
And that's a great point.
No
And that's why I said, and that's why I want to make sure that, and I'm glad Martin felt comfortable to share that with us. He's obviously been listening to us a long time. He's heard about us.
Mhm.
It goes like this. Becky, Harvey, myself, John, Lisa, everybody at all our people, we're going to tell you up front what's right and what's wrong. We're going to disclose to you how you have to go ahead and structure the transaction. Most people are okay with it. Some people aren't okay with it. I'm fine if somebody wants to leave us because we're doing the right thing. Okay.
Right.
We're going to give you the hardcore truth up front. And I know Julie and you guys do the same thing. Okay. Hey, we give people the proper advice, structure the transaction properly, legally, and disclose everything up front. That's just the way we do it. And also, I want to let you guys know that what I'm seeing in the market right now, unfortunately, I've got relatives, friends that are in the real estate business all around the country. In Florida right now, there's a trend. It was going to condos. It was going to live in close quarters. My cousin Ronnie down there in Dade County, he just sold a $3 million single family residence for a family that was moving from New York, shocker, down to Florida. They were looking at a high-rise condo, but when this whole thing happened, they decided they wanted to go single family residence, just have their own space, not be around as many people, and they bought a house. And he told me that's the trend that he's seeing down there in South Florida. I'm just passing that on.
I like that. I mean, there's no board members to fight with. There's no rules on how many dogs or cats. Typically, you can put your own horseshoe pit in the backyard, swimming pools. Of course, you make your own rules. And I think that's what came out. So, hey, Harry sensed the trend. Maybe you guys are going to see that. Maybe we'll see more and more of that, which means our outlining areas will become more valuable areas. Livingston County, just a little bit north of even the Oakland County areas. People might want the acreage.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually from a small town up in the thumb called Lexington, Michigan.
We know
I
Lexington.
love
beautiful.
Lexington.
Love
I
it.
love Lexington.
Summer homes.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
okay too. We don't mind driving out there.
Nope, not at
No.
all.
Scenery. We'll go.
Beautiful
Oh, yeah.
sunrises. Sign me
Yeah.
up.
Little
Mhm.
wineries and breweries up there.
Really a great point because you don't always have to drive all the way up north. You can go to Lexington, be off just north of Port Huron.
It's literally an hour and 45-minute drive from Sylvan Lake, Waterford, Bloomfield area. Everything's within walking distance to the beach. There's wineries, breweries.
Yes.
All the
it's
fun
amazing.
stuff.
Oh,
Love it.
it's amazing.
Since I was little, I mean, once a year, my family, we actually still do it, where we go to Lexington. There's a specific park we go, and we go there just to watch the sunrise, and then we spend the rest of the day. Yeah, so we'd be like kids, our kids, mom and dad wakes up at like 4 a.m. just so we can make it there just in time, and then we're having hot dogs on the beach for breakfast. I mean, so Lexington is beautiful. You got great sunrises for sure.
And they have that amazing pier to walk out there on the water.
Yes, yep, that's where we go. Love it.
All right. You guys, I love this stuff. Everyone's going to get excited for vacation homes
I know,
now.
now I actually want to hit the road.
Hey, why not? All right. Hey,
don't know if we're gonna get those this year, but we go to Lexington.
There's going to be plenty. Hey, 10% down buys you that vacation home. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
I do. We are back, 9:44. If you're just joining us, what a pretty day out there. Going up to 68 and sunny. Same for tomorrow. Hey, it's real estate weather, guys. Get that pre-approval. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker, or call us live here in the studio, 248-539-9797. We'll get you hooked up with great real estate agents and a real approval letter. That's different. So we're going to get into that a little bit too. We've got some great agents, and we got Julie Trauben and Jennifer Havel from Keller Williams Showcase out in Union Lake. Carl Detrych, NuStar Insurance. If you guys need insurance, call us here in the show. We'll get you set up with Carl. He shops, Carl, it's like 5 to 7 of the best companies around the area to find you the best proper insurance coverage and the best price.
We've got 11 of them.
11 of them. Oh, okay. Not 5. Just 11 of them. So we'll get you set up. Hey, there you go. We're going to set you up with the best people always. And let's go off to this call here. We got Tree calling in from Detroit. Good morning, Tree. Your question about you paid off a house. You want to buy another one. Go ahead. Real good. Good to hear from you. Did you get his number, Jim? You got his number. Yeah. Uh-oh. You were doing great there with the Better House stuff. Well, maybe we'll fix up your credit. The first thing is that you made the phone call, so we appreciate that. And we can set you up with some of the great credit repair companies in town. We also can guide you if you don't need that much help, if you don't have an extensive credit situation. Maybe it's just a few things that you can work on. But I think, Tree, that one of the things I want to tell any of the listeners out there with their credit situation, you either have debts that you're paying on time or you have no credit. And it takes good credit. So you might have to go reestablish. Becky, we see this often. You might have to go get a secured credit card. So maybe the first things we could do, Tree, is to direct you that way. Can you go to your local bank or your credit union and get a secured credit card? And that would be a first step of really building a good credit score up. Also, some of the local department stores and Capital One Visa, sort of similar to a name like us, but a Visa company out there, they may do the secured credit cards, and they do start people off with lower credit limits to get you started.
Yeah, even if you're just, paying it, using it for gas, you pay it off, that's going to start establishing this history quickly for you. So that way, if you have under a 600 credit score, you can get that up and we can help you monitor that, because if you're trying to look buy a house, the sooner you start, the better, especially in a situation like that. If you know your scores are not where they should be, we can help guide you. But the first call would be to us, so that way we can analyze what's going on and kind of tell you what to do.
Yeah, I would like to pull that credit report for him, Harv and Becky. I would like the first thing to do is I would pull the credit. Two things are really two things that we have to take a look at. People either think they have really good credit or really bad credit. And usually their really good credit really isn't as good as they thought. And their really bad credit isn't as bad as they thought. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to take a look at it, take a look at each individual line item, and then we can go ahead and suggest how to repair it if it's really bad, but also reestablish it with a secured card or try to go ahead and get the scores up for you. That's what I would do.
And thanks for the call. Yeah, we really appreciate the phone call. Keep going back.
Just a real quick topic on the credit scores too, collections, okay? People think that medical collections, whether it's $25 or $50, that it's not going to affect your credit. The answer is it does. Okay. Sometimes paying off that collection isn't enough. We can help you take the next step to actually possibly remove it. And that's where you're going to see the most points in your credit score jump up. So if you have a little $25 medical collection and you think it's not going to haunt you, and if you think it's not going to bring your scores down, that is a fallacy. People are going to collect their money and it's going to drive your scores down artificially. So if it's something that's nominal, pay it. And then we're going to figure out how to get the scores up after that.
I have a quick question. Can I jump in?
Yeah.
With regard to medical bills that you have, a lot of these providers will allow you to make payments per month if you can't afford to pay it off. Will that affect your credit score, and how will that affect people when it comes to buying a home?
It just depends on how they're reporting it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. Like if they're reporting it, then yes, it is going to, if they're going to report it as a collection, 1,000%, that's going to drop your score 20, 50 points. Once that you're done making that medical collection payment, however it is that you've established it, you're going to want to reach out to them and ask them to stop reporting negatively against you. And that's where you're going to see those points jump. You need to release yourself from it. It's got to be expunged.
Look, if you're thinking about buying a house in the next year, and we have kids and you have situations with insurance, you're not always sure, you got to reach out. You can't just wait to get that bill and not pay it.
Right.
Call your doctor. The doctors are willing to put a program. Call your dentist. These are hardworking professionals in the front lines. They're there to help you. And I think if you ignore them, that's where all of a sudden you're ignoring the bills. You're not calling their bill collector. If you tell them ahead of time, you can even call a doctor and say, look, I need to see you. I got to work something out with you. Mm-hmm. And we see it often. The families, and we talk to the professionals, the dentists and the doctors tell us, if they come to us and they set up a program, there's nothing reported. You don't have to chase a bad collection account. Get in front of that trouble ahead of time and say, hey, doc, I'm going to be paying you $50 a month, and come in with the deposit form. Most of the dentists in town would be willing to work with you. So again, I think it's really important, Beck, because of the pandemic, credit and things are looked at a lot differently now. Credit scores have never been more important. And as soon as things hit the fan, a couple months ago, it got real tight. No one wants to lend money to folks that are wishy-washy with their credit. So very important. Carl's telling us it affects your insurance. And again, nothing could be more important than being on the up and getting that credit piece all together. Yeah. All right. We got some open lines here. 248-539-9797. You guys, I want to talk about the trends here. We're starting to run out of little time. Got a lot of exciting things to go over. Summertime is always the premium time to sell a house. There's no doubt about it. June's the top month. July's the second. August and May are third and fourth. So we're right in the heart of that. We have more and more inventory. What do you guys is it going to be just this great second half of the year? Will this pandemic have a long-lasting effect? And again, it's just time will tell.
I honestly, personally think that maybe the summer is just going to be tough. A lot of families do like to move when school is out, with school being on hold and everybody's doing it online. Who knows when schools are going to reopen if they do this fall. So I think the summer is going to be a little iffy. Next summer, definitely, I think things will be back to normal.
Maybe even the downsizing that folks look at the downsize, or some families have to get a little bit more room. We said everyone's in between right here. Maybe that's going to really dictate what goes on, and we just don't know right now.
Right.
I think that everybody wants to go somewhere, whether it's up or down, and I think it's happening.
They want to change.
Personally, I think they're doing it.
Maybe unlike any other year where we're always busier here in the summertime, this year was different. January 2020 and February were the two strongest months. We have never had that strong of months to start off a year. So maybe this is a new trend that we're going to have here in Michigan, is that, we're going to get a lot of families buying now, but because of the pandemic, maybe it'll be a stronger fall and winter 2020.
December, January, and February, and even into March were my biggest sales ever. I got hit right before Christmas, right until the day before the shutdown.
All right, I got to jump into this real quick too, and we want to wrap up with some insurance talk. Becky, talk to me about refinancing. Boy, if you're not on that bandwagon, you better start calling your local lender.
Yeah, I mean, right now the rates are the lowest they've been in history, like ever. In the history of evers, it's the lowest rate. So if you're thinking about it, call us today. We're going to look at the whole spectrum, whether you want to shorten your term, whether you're thinking about pulling equity out of the home because you want to put in a pool, because if you're going to be quarantined, why not upgrade your home if you're going to stay? All these things are going through everyone's minds. So we're here to walk you through each step of the process to make sure we can get you in the right programs that are going to fit your family's needs.
Pools were always considered. Appraisers come out there and give no value.
I'm thinking about
to a
it.
Pool. That's going to be a whole different ball game moving forward. Beck, you're thinking about a little water hole in the back?
I mean, why not? If we're going to be here for some time, I'm not going anywhere. So we might as well just like throw a rock in the backyard.
They made an announcement, and then we made an announcement this week. I think the pools across the United States, I think specifically here in Michigan, the public pools are going to be closed this summer. So you hit the local beach, or again, call the pool companies. I think are just jamming. They're digging holes.
Or call your favorite real estate agents over here. We will sell you lakefront.
All right. Hey.
Carl, we threw it in there real quick. We're talking about pools and stuff. Some families are getting into the water and stuff. Talk to me real quick about some insurance that you should get some coverage.
On pools, you definitely want to take your liability limits up to $1 million. Putting an umbrella also for that extra $1 million, $2 million. All it takes is for one kid come in, jump over a fence, get into your pool. Something happens. Better believe they're going to sue you, even though if they're best friends or not. So yeah, definitely taking your liability up is a big. Letting your agent know too that you do have a pool in there. We do want to documentate it. Slides, they don't like them. Some companies do, some don't. Jumping boards or the dive boards, those are another one to really be careful with out there. So
Carl just brought me down to Chinatown because that's exactly that's my hesitation is those two things he said.
Right, exactly. All of a sudden the pool's not going in so quick.
Yeah.
No pool, everybody.
But it's not bad. $1 million umbrella policy, even. Give me an idea, Carl.
150
a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you got to protect yourself. I mean, that's a shout out to anyone that's a pool owner. Yeah. Right. A lot of families. Yeah, keep the pool appointment. The guy can still come to the house.
You don't need insurance till you need insurance. So listen to what he's saying. Get it no matter what, because you don't want to be caught where you're like, man, I didn't know. Talk to your insurance agent. Give Carl a call. He'll hook you up.
Everybody complains about insurance, right? Everybody complains about insurance until you don't have it. So just buy
until
it.
You don't have it.
Just deal with it. And also trending. Are we done?
Says we're all done. That's it, folks. I want to thank all you guys. Of course, Harry Glantz, Becky Haley. Great job on the Zoom broadcast. These guys are unbelievable. Jennifer Havel, Julie Trauben.
Thank you so much.
You can. We'll have you back. Keller Williams Showcase over there at Union Lake. If you call us at Capital Mortgage Funding, we'll get you hooked up with these great real estate agents. That's easy.
Yeah, so we will take care of you 24.
Hey, Becky,
My
they
new
cut us
favorite
off real
insurance
quick.
agent, Kyle Detrych, NuStar Insurance.
Oh, yeah, they come in.
Kyle, you're very educated
No,
on it.
the radio guys cut us off
Call us. We'll
real
get you hooked
quick.
up with Carl also. He's
Mhm.
fantastic.
Is he still
Check it
on?
out, NuStar Insurance. All right, we got Pat Caputo coming up with sports and a ton of social commentary. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.
Sorry.